Let's take a look at the Shaman in Hardcore Classic WoW. Throughout this video we will do a brief overlook on the Shaman's abilities that are relevant to hardcore gameplay and can help you out in terms of survival, and we will look at the strengths and weaknesses of the Shaman class. To top it all off, we will give it a rating at the end of the video to give you an indicator on how good the class is for hardcore. Shamans are actually surprisingly strong and good for hardcore. I don't know why I add the word surprisingly here. It might be my own personal prejudice by not having played Shaman in Classic WoW before doing my research for this video, and I have to say, playing a Shaman actually feels great. You feel pretty strong during the early levels, and you just feel stronger and stronger as you level up. That sounds pretty logical, but many classes just don't have that natural progression curve. Or they feel good the entire way, or they feel bad the entire way. Shamans start out by being good, and they just get better. To top it all off, they are a hybrid class. Technically, you can tank, heal and damage, even though Shaman tanking is very scuffed and it's mostly used as a backup, but you do have a Tanda Taunt Totem and the ability to use a shield and abilities that can generate threat. Mostly though, you will probably level as a DPS spec, and if you go elemental, you can also heal through dungeons very effectively, which means you can find dungeon groups while leveling pretty easily by being able to fulfill the role of a healer without needing a pure healing spec. There are a couple of reasons why Shaman feels very strong both while leveling, and personally I really enjoy the hybrid feeling of being both a ranged and melee DPS class. You get access to an ability called the Rockbiter weapon quite early, which will significantly boost your melee damage, so what I usually do is I throw a lightning bolt or two, and then I finish off the mob with some melee attacks, which also allows my mana regeneration to start ticking. This way I have minimal downtime and require less mana breaks. Now, to fully understand how powerful the Shaman class can be for hardcore, let's take a look at some of the Shaman's abilities. Number 1, Rockbiter weapon. As I already mentioned, this one increases the physical damage output of your melee weapons, increasing your melee damage. This provides a pretty huge boost at the lower levels. You also have Ghost Wolf. This is an insane movement speed increasing ability, which can even be talented into being an instant cast, allowing you to use this to level up faster by increasing your movement speed on a regular basis, and it also provides you with an escape option if things get scary. Earthbind Totem, allowing you an AoE slow to use for mobs. You can also combine this one with Ghost Wolf, so you have it in a way to escape just about everything. Pop Earthbind to slow down all the mobs, then go for Ghost Wolf and run away to safety. You also have Frost Shock, just in case you need to slow down one enemy, and you have Stone Claw Totem, a personal target dummy without needing engineering, incredibly useful for survival. You also have lots of other totems as well, such as the Strength of Earth Totem. For more damage output, you have the Grounding Totem to redirect harmful spells, Poison Cleansing Totem to get rid of poisons, Tremor Totem to get rid of out of fears, and Wind Fury Totem for top DPS. You also have a Cure Poison ability, just in case you don't want to rely on the Poison Cleansing Totem to do the job for you, and you have self-healing abilities like Healing Wave. Purge, allowing you to dispel beneficial buffs from enemies. For example, if an enemy enrages or uses Bloodlust, you can take it away. It is very useful for survival. Water breathing, just so you don't risk dying because you forgot about your breath meter underwater. Now, these are just some of the Shaman's abilities that I thought was worth highlighting. On top of this, they can also pump incredible damage, both sustainable damage and burst damage. The combination of that damage output stacked with self-healing and survival abilities like a personal target dummy from the Stone Claw Totem, as well as the ability of slowing down enemies through both Frost Shock for single target slows and even Earthbind Totem for AoE slows, plus the addition of speeding yourself up with Ghost Wolf, you really have the recipe for success and survival sitting at your hands right here. On top of that, both throughout your leveling process and especially at max level, you know for sure that you are playing a class that will be in high demand. Players always want shamans in their group, even if it's only for those totems. The totems from a shaman provide incredible support, both in terms of abilities like Earthbind, but also by buffing other people's damage output, especially from the Wind Fury totem. So let's get into some class ratings. For solo gameplay, this class gets a 5 out of 5. Having all the abilities you have, it is, like I said, a recipe for survival and success. You can slow down mobs one by one with Frost Shock, AoE slows from Earthbind, Ghost Wolf to speed yourself up, a personal target dummy, self-healing, you can use shield, you pretty much have it all. The one thing I will say is that while I do personally give the class a 5 out of 5, personal skill does matter here, and in order to unlock that 5 out of 5 star rating, you need to utilize all the abilities that you have in your toolkit. For group gameplay, another 5 out of 5 stars. Totems can buff everyone else in your party, meaning you bring a lot of group utility and synergy, plus you can fulfill the role of either a healer or a DPS, meaning you are an incredibly flexible support class. Plus if you're a DPS, you can pump some pretty good numbers on those DPS meters while also supporting the rest of your group from your totems. For survival, you would never guess it, but another 5 out of 5. Referring back to the same abilities as usual, self-healing, Frost Shock, Earthbind, Ghost Wolf, it's a pretty insane class for survival if you ask me. Now, whenever playing a shaman, I feel like a strong hybrid between any class. By using a slow two-handed weapon with Rockbiter, you hit just like a warrior would in melee range, but by using faster weapons, alternatively a one-handed weapon, with Wind Fury enhancement, you start feeling more like a rogue, but then you can also go full caster mode by throwing out lightning bolts and chain lightnings, and you can use Frost Shock to kite mobs around. Plus you have self-healing. It just feels like the perfect class that has just about everything you would want. In raid groups you will also always be wanted just because of the totems that you bring, and one of your primary jobs as a shaman will be to keep a designated set of totems up at all times for your party to take advantage of. This is also a pretty huge boost while leveling, and if dungeon cleaving ever comes back again, the Horde has a massive advantage on melee cleave groups by running a warrior tank, warrior DPS, rogue DPS, and a shaman healer with Wind Fury totem for those massive Wind Fury procs. The shaman is supposed to be the Horde counterpart of the paladin for the alliance, and the two key differences are that while both classes are extremely built for supporting their team, Paladin focuses more on survival by reducing threat generated through, for example, Blessing of Salvation, while the Shaman focuses more on increasing damage dealt, as demonstrated through many of the totems increasing the DPS output by your party members. In many cases, having that survivability or support from a paladin might outweigh the shaman's totems that are built around increasing DPS output, but the shaman also has access to things like the Earthbinding totem, which we have mentioned earlier in this video. There's also the saying of the best defense is a good offense, if the mobs they can't kill you if you kill them first. And that's pretty much what I have for the shaman class. Hopefully you've enjoyed the class overview, and I'll see you in the next one.